Okay, Adam Schefter. I'm just reading here. Adam Schefter. Bears head coach Matt Nagy announces that going forward, Justin Fields is Chicago's starting quarterback.
Yo!
Stacey Dales. Andy Dalton will be a full participant at Bears practice today. That indicates he is healthy.
Hell yeah!
What do we do now? Dan just kneeled.
TiVo! Someone has finally seen the light. Or someone's boss told him that he needed to do something different.
And Jim Boylan is still fired. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
That's the growth plate.
Oh, yeah.
This is it. So it happened.
Everything is.
Did I get this right? It happened.
Well, I mean, yeah.
What do we do
if he's
now?
a full participant in practice and he's not starting, he's been benched. You can grab some bench.
You're listening to BetQL Daily, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook, with Joe Ostrowski, Joe Giglio, and Aaron Hawksworth from BetQL.
The reaction yesterday on 670, the score in Chicago, I imagine the entire city felt similarly. It is now is Justin Fields quarterback one? Are we getting that? Bears QB1?
Yeah, where's it at? Where's it
at? They got to
at?
put it out there. He's the starter now, according to Matt Nagy. Not
Freezing
Andy
cold
Dalton.
takes. I want to see that out there right now.
That's right. Just troll Nagy as far as we could do that. I think that's obviously it's a big deal in Chicago. It's a big deal for bettors out there. It doesn't change the way I feel about this particular game, the Bears and the Raiders on Sunday. But I mean, we feel better about Matt Nagy now? Is less jail time, or is still everyone upset in Chicago?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so we got the news before Jake had his podcast yesterday, or Twitch. So things are better, right? Is it better, Jake?
Matt Nagy still belongs behind bars, and Bill Lazor should be in charge. But
okay,
I mean,
so this is Joe. This is what we're living through, right? And I think Jake, tell me if you're on the same page. So we're happy. Justin Fields is the guy. Let's see what he can do. Now we're on the ramp, right? We're rolling for the next 5 years. Let's see if you want to extend him. Let's see if he's a stud player you think he can be. However, I don't want him to look so good that Matt Nagy is safe, because he's a bum, and we're never going to see the peak of Fields' powers with Matt Nagy here. This is my life. How about you, Jake?
I think you're seeing Matt Nagy next year regardless, because even that just flashed in your eyes that's how I felt all yesterday. No, I mean, we're going to see
Joe
Nagy next year anyway.
Over like something bad was happening.
But that's what's going to happen, because Bears don't make the playoffs, which is likely. Matt Nagy's going to be able to go into that big fat stooge Ted Phillips's office and say, "Hey, I'm going to have a full year of Justin now. I'm going to have a full off season of Justin. Give me a full off season with Justin Fields, and let me put some more, weapons and schemes around him, and then I can get the playoffs." And it's gonna work, because he's Ted Phillips and he's the worst.
This is why he pushed it off as long as he possibly could.
Right.
The same thing we saw with Mitchell Trubisky, with Mike Lennon, and there's oh my God, that press conference going on and on about how great Andy Dalton was looking when he was on the field. Like, we all have eyes. Just stop. He's just trying to save his job, saying, "Oh, I didn't get enough time with Justin Fields." So yeah, there's going to be no excuses. Yeah, whatever. I like the Raiders in this spot. I like the Raiders, and we're still sitting at 5.5, right, Joe G? No impact to the line?
Yeah, 5.5, the number last time I looked at it this morning. And I'm not surprised that, look, Fields has a start under his belt a couple weeks ago, and he obviously didn't play very well. A lot of that was on Matt Nagy, but it's not like he didn't do enough, I think, to move the line yet. Now, he plays well in a game like this. I think it'll change the line moving forward, what he is as their quarterback. Yeah, 5.5, total 44.5 in that game. So it's going to be Justin Fields on Sunday. Before we get to a little college football here, can we hear from Chuck Pagano? Used to be the defensive coordinator with Matt Nagy. He was on the Pat McAfee show, and I think Chuck Pagano should come on our show. He'd fit right in, roasting Matt Nagy. Here he is with Pat McAfee.
But now that it's been announced as Justin Fields is the starter, what do you think took so long? Why do you think the holdup was? And what ultimately do you think pushed him over the hump to make that decision? Do you think it was pressure from other people, or do you think Nagy just got to that point naturally?
Yeah, going back to the presser, Pat, all you had to do is get up there and say, "Hey, look, Bill did a great job. Fields did a great job. Defense was outstanding. Turnovers, end of discussion." Tino always taught me, less is more. Shut up. You talk too damn much, Chuck. So less is more. Just leave it at that. And then, I think the court of public opinion, I think the fans, I'm sure there's people in that organization are saying, hey, this kid's our future. Why are we going to delay this any longer? We know what Andy is. He's great in that role. He can become, the next clipboard Jesus, if you will, and be the backup. And, let this kid, get these snaps under his belt instead of waiting, going back and forth. So I don't, one way or another, I know the locker room and everybody in that city and that organization is probably fired up that Fields is going to be out there still.
This episode is brought to you by the Home Depot. The key to your new living room is right in your phone. No, really. The Home Depot app is the perfect digital toolbox you need to get your projects done faster. Find exactly what you need by using image search and calculate your materials with the in-app project calculators. You can even shop online and have the store come to you by choosing same-day, next-day, or 2-day shipping. Find what you need fast and kick off your next project with confidence. Download the Home Depot app today to get started.
This episode is brought to you by Off the Eaten Path. You're hungry for adventure, so try a snack that satisfies your curiosity and your appetite. Off the Eaten Path Veggie Crisps and Chickpea Veggie Crisps are bursting with flavor and texture, designed to take your taste buds on a journey. Packed with real veggies like chickpeas, black beans, rice, and green peas, these gluten-free crisps are deliciously crunchy and non-GMO project verified. Plus, they have no artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. So it's a great tasting snack you can feel good about. Real veggies. Really delicious. Shop now for Off the Eaten Path Veggie Crisps on Amazon or at stores near you.
Clipboard Jesus, Andy Dalton.
He just called Andy Dalton, a guy who's been playing the league 11 years, a guy that started playoff games. He took his team to the playoffs. Just called him Charlie Whitehurst. That was Clipboard Jesus. Charlie Whitehurst, a bum.
When he was with the Seahawks, I covered the team.
He hated that nickname, right?
I know,
stories,
yeah. But he looked like
He
Jesus.
did.
You had to call him Clipboard Jesus.
I believe Chuck Pagano played Andy Dalton in a playoff game. He prepared for a playoff game against Andy Dalton.
I mean, think about the layers of that minute of Chuck Pagano, a guy that was the defensive coordinator for Matt Nagy over the last couple of years. And it's everyone's belief in the city that he was told, you're fired or you retire. You decide. So there's some animosity there. And he knows how the inner workings go since he's a defensive coordinator. And he's got thoughts. What are you doing? Shut up.
Do fans like Pagano in Chicago?
Now they do.
I thought he was kind of an
No.
I thought he was kind of an embarrassing D coordinator for you.
Yeah,
guys.
not really, because I think the fans still feel that Mack and Hicks are elite defenders, and I don't think that's really the case. And Pagano took a lot of blame last season, but they liked him after hearing that because they hate Matt Nagy a lot more than they hate Chuck Pagano right now. As I dive into this matchup, before we jump into college really quick, the reason that we're sitting here at 5.5, remember, both of these teams were very close in the win total coming in. The Bears were 7.5 and the Raiders were 8. So they were viewed as playing at the same level. Let's remember that primetime spot, Carr, by far his worst game of the season.
Yep.
The Raiders overall, worst game of the season. In those first 3 games, going down the field 20-plus yards, he was 12 for 22, 371 yards. We know what Waller can be. But what we don't talk about is that Raiders defense. They're not great. They're not a top 5 defense, anything like that. However, they have some talent all of a sudden. Like, we didn't realize how good Max Crosby is. And in their secondary, Casey Hayward is number 1 coverage grade, according to PFF. Their nickel guy, Nate Hobbs, he's number 4 coverage grade, PFF. Trayvon Mullen, who was in the injury report yesterday, so keep an eye out on that. He's rated as the 26th best corner. That's pretty good as your 3rd guy in the secondary. They have a lot of talent on this team all of a sudden, and people are crushing their rookie right tackle, Alex Leatherwood, because he hasn't graded out well. He's faced Joey Bosa, Justin Houston, TJ Watt, Melvin Ingram, Agba, who's up near the top with pressures and win rate. So he's had a tough ride so far. And Mack and Hicks both on the injury report on Wednesday, so keep an eye out there. But long way of saying I like the Raiders -5.5. Nagy on the road is a big dog. Doesn't work out well.
Yeah, this could be a rout. I mean, this could be a double-digit victory for the Raiders. I'm with you, and yeah, that's certainly a welcome to the NFL. A couple weeks there for that right tackle in Las Vegas. Or let's jump to a little college here. There is one gigantic game this week that we have to give our thoughts on. Iowa, Penn State. The winner, I mean, really has an inside track to be in the playoff mix when the season ends if they continue to take care of business. Number 3 versus number 4. The game on FanDuel, 1.5-point favorite, Iowa. Look, I hate trying. Listen, I hate backing James Franklin in big games. I don't think he's a very good coach, but I do like Penn State in this game. My thought is Penn State, and I'll tell you why. Both these teams have really good defenses. Really good. Like, they're both top 10 in yards per play.
Number 2 and number 3 scoring defenses in the country.
They are dominant defenses. But Penn State's offense is just way more explosive. Like, Iowa is, when you think of the Big Ten, you think of Iowa. It's 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They're not in the top 100 in yards per play. I don't know if they can make a big play.
Boy.
Can they make one? I think this game will come down to who makes one big play, who breaks a 30, 40, 50-yard pass play, whatever, right? Just change the game, change field position, get a score. Penn State is in the top 15 yards per play. They don't have a great offense. I don't love their quarterback, Clifford, but I like Penn State just because it seems like one play could decide a game like this. Now, it could be a turnover, but I can't predict that. But big plays could decide it. I like Penn State.
So that
for me, I like the under in this one with how good these two defenses are. And the fact that the total is 41.5, I think it kind of shows what kind of game we're going to, be getting here. And one thing to watch is the turnovers. Iowa leads the nation with 16 takeaways. And that was certainly a theme against Maryland. I decided to stay away from the total and the spread, and I'm going to put them in a 3-leg parlay. So I paired them or matched them in the parlay with Oklahoma, Iowa, and Michigan moneyline parlay.
There it is, the moneyline parlay.
It was, plus 349.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Aaron on the under. What kind of game is it going to be? It's going to be a rock fight is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, let's throw some scores out there. What we envision, like you mentioned with the defenses, Iowa giving up 11.6 points per game and Penn State only 12 points per game. What kind of score are we expecting? Like, you look at that number of 41.5 and it looks so scary. Oh, it's such a low number. It's tough to go under. Are both of these teams getting in the 20s?
No.
It's one of these teams
14.
getting in the 20s.
20-17 feels like high, right? Doesn't that feel like, wow, that was a high scoring game? Yeah, it's going to be what quarterback turns the ball over and deep in their own territory, and can someone make one big play? Can they break a play? Like, you're not going to get first downs easily. It's going to be, you're going to feel like you're watching football from 1995 when you turn this game on.
Yeah, like some people like Big Ten in the Midwest. I don't like that, but whatever. It is what it is with these two teams, especially with Iowa at Kinnick. That number's come down a bit, down to 1.5. Joe G, it was 2.5 around this time yesterday. So Penn State getting some support, but I like the under.
I went to a school, so I will pass on this type of game.
Yeah, this isn't fun when you're used to that. No, it's a different kind of football game. BetQL Daily presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. We'll line them up and decide NFL games we like, our favorite ones for the week. Joe O, Joe G, Aaron Hawksworth right here on BetQL Daily.